Jeff, of course, Mike Lubie, and it's always a pleasure to have this gentleman on the program because he's a good man and a great commentator as well, and was a terrific football player at both Penn State and in the pros with the Miami Dolphins. The great O.J. McDuffie joins us here on the show. The Dolphins are fast as hell. Yeah. I'm thinking, if this guy McDaniel has this innovative kind of Bill Walsh extrapolation that also involves the running game, and these offensive weapons obviously fit the puzzle very, very well, it could be very interesting to see a team just outspeed other teams. Just curious if this was ever offered to you in any kind of promotional thing or charitable effort, because I was a big fan of when like a football player would race against a thoroughbred racehorse. Bullet Bob Hayes did it. I think he might have beat the horse. Skeets Nehemiah, who, wow, where did he get his hands from? Nehemiah, was that
oh, man, I don't know. From Roberto Duran. You got to from Roberto Duran.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
And a very special good morning, everybody. Great to have you guys with us here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz, South Florida Live, our new channel, and very happy to have you guys on board with that. Tell your friends, share the posts, subscribe, and start listening and viewing the video streaming that we're doing here, engineered by one Mike Lubitz. And once again, off to a rocking start here because this is Lubie's favorite day. It really is. A lot of people like opening day in baseball. There's a certain Americana piece of romance with that. Opening day. I'm not so sure that it's as big a deal. Well, it certainly isn't here in South Florida as it might be, say, in Boston, New York, maybe Los Angeles, Chicago, certainly with the Cubs, and maybe to a lesser extent the White Sox. St. Louis would be huge on opening day. Many baseball cities out there. This doesn't happen to be one of them, even though the Marlins had a dramatic victory last night. And here's a weird stat. I'm not sure, if I'm reading this correctly, but the Cardinals, when leading going into the ninth inning, the St. Louis Cardinals, an excellent organization, currently, I believe, sitting second in the NL Central behind Milwaukee. And the Cardinals had been 38-1 when leading going to the ninth inning this year. 38-1.
Jesus.
And they are now 38-2 as the Marlins pulled and salvaged a game in a series, taking the game last night on a home run, a 2-run homer in the ninth inning by some guy I never heard of. I don't even know. I mean, there are guys on the roster there that it is incredible that we're this deep into the season. And even watching local news and catching highlights and ESPN Sports Center and reading the papers and all of this stuff, I would probably say I couldn't give you 1/3 of the Marlins roster this year. I don't even know if I could go around the horn. Miggy's still with the team. That's a good thing. We always can identify Miggy Rojas. Aguilar's still there. Mattingly's still managing, although you would think if the team finishes under 500 this year, do they pull the plug on Donnie Baseball?
Well, they got rid of your boy Dembo. Like they're not.
Oh, yeah?
And
but he was a Jeter carryover.
He was.
Gary Denbo, yeah. That didn't work out so well with Gary Denbo. Kim Ng, though, had ties, I would imagine, to Denbo since
she's on the clock.
She, I don't know that, she'll be. That'd be a difficult thing to do, to fire the first woman to take a position like that after just a couple of years.
They suck.
Hey, you're out of here. Listen, we don't care. You want an equal treatment? We fire guys like you.
That's it. I mean,
right away.
I don't feel bad. I mean, that's why I don't mind when we talk about Serena's weight. We're not body shaming. You're the first guy to call out a dude for either gaining weight or the other losing weight and sucking. So, I mean, we're equal here. That's why I don't feel bad. Someone said it yesterday, and I meant to text you and laugh about it. They're like, they actually commented on the YouTube, politics? And I was like, politics? I mean, we didn't talk about taxes or education. What politics is he talking about? I'm like, you mean the hearings where we found out that a president was trying to take out his own country? I mean, that's not politics. That's just, I mean, who does? How do you not?
I don't care who was president at the time. The fact that this was even slightly a consideration is as appalling as anything that you could possibly. And I mean, whether all of the descriptions of Trump's behavior are accurate or not, I mean, we've seen enough of this guy to know that he was like this before he was president. He was an asshole then. He was an asshole when he ran for president. And, maybe, who knows, maybe some of his policies actually did work. That's possible. Right, he had advisors and all kinds of people, but did the man not completely unravel in the last year of his presidency? I know a lot of things went wrong, and COVID-19. You can't blame this on one guy. Certainly, his response left a lot to be desired. And the fact that they're going to bring in this other guy that doesn't believe in medical science, Ron DeSantis, probably. If Trump doesn't run for president in 2024, DeSantis is likely to be the Republican candidate. This guy is a certifiable nutbag, Trump wannabe. Well, I didn't like Trump long ago. I all you can do when a guy gets elected president that you wouldn't have voted for, which I didn't, and I said this to you at the time, Lubie. You know what? If the guy is in office for 4 years, how much damage can he really do?
Wow.
And we saw it.
Well, and the other thing I was going to say to your credit is you call him Sleepy Joe Biden. Like you're the first one to mock Joe Biden.
No prize, man.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we are fair game here, both sides, when it's sports or life. So I don't. Yeah. Whatever.
Look, and Kamala Harris doesn't impress me at all. No. Really, I was looking forward to maybe a dynamic presence here from the vice president, maybe of Michelle Obama proportions, only actually an elected official. Where Kamala Harris would be influential for a lot of campaigns that did some good and are brought up a lot of ideas that would be good for the country that maybe they couldn't get across because of the Republican resistance in Congress and the Senate. But nonetheless, you were kind of hoping that she would establish herself as more of a dynamic presence, somebody that you could embrace as a possibility to be a black woman president, which, not that you need to have those qualifications, those qualifiers, but nonetheless, very disappointing. I mean, maybe even more disappointing than Joe Biden. And Biden, you can't really blame. He was never anybody that you thought, oh, my God, we got to have Joe Biden as president. So, but at that point, I was like anything but this continuation of this absurd circus that was going on, where every day it was more hostility. And, you have a country that could it be any more divided? I mean, you had guys with horns running into the Capitol building on.
Like, I did not talk about that.
On the suggestion of the president that we go down there and fight for our country so that we can overturn an election that was perfectly legitimate. That, as you stated, Lubie, if there were, the part of the reason was that they tried so hard to keep people from voting that, it couldn't have been anything but legit. And the guy lost by 7 million votes and still claiming that he won the thing because of this Fugazi Electoral College that got him in office in the first place.
And he lost.
It's a mess, and it's unfortunate. I saw somebody make some sense yesterday. I watch a lot of CNN, which people would say, there you go again, you lefty Tommy Pig,
MSNBC left.
But anyway, and a woman was talking about this immigration problem after this tragedy with, the smuggling incident in San Antonio, Texas, where 53 people are dead, and I mean, in horrific fashion. And you're thinking, what if you were in a position where all you really wanted was just to at least have the smallest shot of having a decent life, of pursuing not even the American dream, but just like living a decent life? We're very lucky, Lubie. Even in hard times where, we had to regroup and start our business all over again and then count on people to support us and find us. And, this was turf that we were unfamiliar with. But, we're very lucky because we're able to do it.
Yep.
We wouldn't have to like crawl out of some, dirt hole somewhere in, some port town in Mexico or whatever, just to get a shot to maybe go and, pick some produce so that we might have a half a chance to get our children an opportunity to live like a normal life like we're living right now. We're very, very lucky. We don't have to deal with that kind of thing.
100%.
So naturally, there's empathy for it. But the woman was making a point, and I didn't really catch her name. She was a reporter or an analyst, a political analyst for the New York Daily News. And she said, you know what? These problems are solvable, but they have to stop being political issues.
Yeah.
And people need to get together and say, hey, you know what? We can figure out what to do about immigration. It doesn't have to be an extremist reaction to it, where it's all or nothing, one way or the other. There are probably legitimate ways of fixing a lot of these problems and things that are wrong in this country. And I was always of the belief that this was the way the system worked. That there would be compromise and negotiation and understanding and a willingness for a little bit of give and take. Not this business where, if you say something, naturally, we're sensitive to the idea because we were told many times, don't ever mention politics when we were doing our sports talk show. But how could you be a living, breathing human being and ignore some of the most significant things that we've ever seen in the history of this country, which is the threat that was actually legitimately there to end our democracy as we know it
like
by trying to overturn the results of a popular election
yeah,
and
it was a
denying that
total
they were
coup.
credible. Yeah.
He lost by a lot. He lost by a lot, and that's the thing is, look, I didn't mean to take you down this path.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to go here. I just
No, because I was ready to go down your path of speculation
Yeah,
and
and we'll do
wild,
that.
rumor mills where, we got into this whole NBA free agency, which gets underway today. And later on in the show, Mike Vaccaro, excellent article today about the state of the New York Knicks in the New York Post, all related to free agency, where we all know they're going to get Jalen Brunson unless
out of nowhere. Riley's like,
he signs with the Heat.
Would be a signing
Does,
trade.
does Riley do that just to stick it up the rear end of the New York Knicks one more time?
I feel like, yeah. Because
He doesn't even probably want Jalen Brunson. He just says, you know what? Let me fuck with Leon Rose.
like he's
and
a
put this
step
out
up
there.
that he could use him the way he played in the playoffs. He would really fit in well. But
Yeah.
if you're playing him with Lowry, it's two pudgy short guys that aren't athletic. So
I would think you bail out on Lowry at that point, no?
that's what I would. A lot of people are talking about them playing together. I would think Vincent actually showed a nice thing that you would let Brunson come in. Lowry would be in the trade package because they don't have the money, so you would have to do a sign and trade. So for the Mavs, it's better than nothing. And I just wonder if he can somehow make the money work. How he goes to the Knicks still. Like I know his dad's there and the whole agent thing, but it's like if the Heat.
Oh
like,
no, the
hey.
Knicks the Knicks have cleared out their salary cap.
I know they've given
they
him
have
$1
$30 million in salary cap room. They easily can accommodate Jalen Brunson. They hired his father as an assistant coach.
I know.
If that isn't a sign, and as you told the story yesterday, Leon Rose was his agent when he came into the league, and now Leon Rose's son, who is an NBA
It's
sports
his
agent,
agency.
is his agent. So where's this guy going to go? I mean, if he doesn't sign with the Knicks, this would be the all-time stunner in terms of everybody was certain that something was going to happen in the NBA, and then LeBron says, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach."
Yeah,
in front of Jim Gray. After Jim Gray, pissed away 59 minutes and 59 seconds of television time, dancing all around, the idea that, hey, where are you going, LeBron? Don't torture us. Do we really have to watch the entire show? That was worse than watching. Remember when? And I forget the guy's name now. It was Llewellyn. The guy that did the People's Court. He was like the reporter on the People's Court. Was it Doug Llewellyn? And this guy actually he looked like a stiff when he was the host of the People's Court, right? He would come out and do the interviews after the two guys came out there, and Wapner had made like another horrible decision. And, he would interview the two guys, and he would give it one of those things at the end where he signed off and said, "That's the way it went today in the People's Court. I'm Doug Llewellyn." You're like, who is he, schmink? So it turned out he was like a brilliant producer of television, and made a lot of money producing television shows, and was very impactful there. At least I believe that was the story. And then he did that thing where he produced the show where I think Geraldo was searching for Al Capone's hidden vault. Remember that one?
I learned about it. I learned about it in college, and then you've talked about it too throughout the years.
Oh, man, ridiculous, right? You sat there for 90 minutes waiting for them to, expose what was in this vault that was supposed to be, so revealing. And then it turned out it was like a can of baked beans and a dead mouse, and that was it. Really? I invested 90 minutes of my valuable lifetime to watch this crap. That shows you, that should be a message that you get internally that says and triggers an epiphany in your brain that, you know what, you're not living right if you're watching this dreck. But it would be incredible if Brunson didn't end up signing with the Knicks. I mean, that would be the most baffling result of free agency that we've ever seen. We've seen stranger stuff happen in the NBA, but that the Heat could get involved in this thing, that seemed really, really far-fetched. That was the last thing for discussion.
You saw Julian's response there. He just heard the name Heat and Riley mentioned, and he's like, "Oh no!" Like, I think he goes to the Knicks. I'm just saying, like, if the Heat come out of nowhere, it's usually for a reason. Like, usually there's something brewing, and Riley's like, "Well, I mean, I think."
Well, and Mike Vaccaro with the New York Post going to join us. We always love talking to Mike because I mean he's got his fingerprints all over the sports landscape of New York and does a great job by analyzing things and does it from a very fair standpoint, much like we're trying to be with the political commentary that we're making here. I mean, we believe in fairness. If you think that what's going on in the country or what was happening there on January 6th was nothing and, it looked like a normal day at the Capitol building where some guys were taking a tour, and you want to believe that, great. Right? Leave your dentures under the pillow there, and I'll put $1 million there, so that you can buy new teeth. That's crazy. I mean, that's tooth fairy type of stuff. It really is.
But whoever you want.
It's the same thing like all of this overanalysis of sports in a sense, and that's why you can always learn something from sports that's applicable to real life situations. Why do announcers choose to ignore the obvious? Where, and you have to make a big deal out of the most marginal thing that happens in a ball game, and then yet when something really important happens, they have nothing to say all of a sudden.
Yep.
And, because it might go against the league to say, hey, you know what? These officials are blind as fucking bats. Are you going to get that out of Troy Aikman after a series of atrocious calls? No, because as he looks at the replay, I mean, what is the point of having an analyst who doesn't do any analysis? and then pay him $90 million to do this for like a season. I mean, it's incredible because how many times you see this? And watch for this year. If you're watching ESPN Monday Night Football, Troy Aikman, and, seems like the nicest of guys. I mean, how do you not have some level or measure of respect for Aikman? His career was great. He conducted himself and comported himself like a real gentleman the entire time. You don't see Aikman embroiled in a lot of scandals, do you? Although, was it a theory that, somebody was trying to imply that, like, Aikman was gay or something?
Homosexual. That was like 20-something years ago.
That's as scandalous as it got, if you could consider that scandalous, which, it shouldn't be, but, maybe Skip Bayless was proliferating that.
It was Bayless. It was Bayless when he was wrote for the Dallas Morning News.
I wouldn't care. You know what? The guy seemed like a real gentleman. I don't know anybody that has anything, negative to say about Troy Aikman or had an incident where Aikman, I'm sure somewhere along the line, he must have pissed somebody off, maybe walked by some kid, who was sticking out a piece of paper for an autograph as he was about to get into a car, whatever. Okay. So there are probably some people out there that are anti-Troy Aikman, but as an analyst, I don't know. What has he ever said that you went, wow, that was DeRogatis-esque. That was just pure, unadulterated brilliance on the part of this man. But the worst example of it is when they have the instant replays, and you can clearly see. I mean, look, how many times are you screaming at the screen? Are you kidding me? Anybody can see what transpired on the play. The ball was on the ground. It was fumbled clearly. The guy had it in his possession while he was still standing up. It rolled around on the ground. A member of the opposite team fell right on it. I was at the bottom of the pile. There's no controversy, no discussion, no discrepancy whatsoever in what should happen. And that is that this team should get the ball because the ball was fumbled. And they'll be sitting there going, oh, I don't know. I tell you what. They don't get all the angles there in New York.
Exactly.
So what are you talking about?
What the hell are you watching?
I'm watching the game.
He already scored, guys. Like, what are you?
Ignoring the obvious is not a good characteristic, but it is something that happens a lot. Where people just don't want to say the truth, and if that's the way you feel about this whole January 6th thing, that's okay with me.
Yeah,
but I remember turning on the TV when it was going on and not knowing anything about it, right? And I turn on the TV in the afternoon. I say, well, wait a minute, man. Where is this taking place?
It's like Argentina.
That's the Capitol building? Are you kidding me? What are all these people doing? They're breaking windows.
Cuba. Like, what country is this? That's what I remember thinking.
Venezuela, maybe.
That's what I thought. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. I was just like, wow, they're doing it again in Haiti. That sucks.
Right.
Like I had no idea it was America. And then I'm like,
guys with moose antlers on their head.
I'm like, okay. What is that?
Viking outfits on. They're beating up cops. Not even cops, like the Capitol Police, which are there, probably thinking, hey, it's going to be a nice quiet day here today. Thank you, Donnie. But if you miss that, and you just want to pretend that didn't happen, then we're probably talking to the wrong people. And I would imagine that
I don't think that's
you would never
audience.
be big fans of the show.
I mean, that's what I said. I'm like, oh, so you're new to Defo and Lubie.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello.
All right, so this whole thing, Mike Vaccaro, interesting column today, talking about Leon Rose, who's kind of a mysterious character there with the New York Knicks, was being exalted as a savior just a couple of years ago, and Julius Randle broke through and had that big season, and then they had some high draft picks also. They ended up getting R.J. Barrett, who, that was sort of a weak draft, was it not? At the very top, I mean, I don't know. Was R.J. Barrett really like number 3 quality based on his college career? He wasn't that great at Duke, was he?
He was fine at Duke, and he should have, and he had potential. But the problem is he hasn't. And what's funny is this year he actually put up a lot better numbers, and he looked better.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's a second or a third guy. Like that's the problem with Brunson. Is Brunson's like a second or third guy. Like they need a number 1 guy, and Randall's like a third or fourth guy. Like Randall's shown on the big stage that he's not going to be the dude. And they're going to put a lot of money into a guy that's the same thing as what they have. Like, they have a lot of number 3s. Yay. They don't have, like, that's where Jimmy Butler was a great move because people thought he was a number 3. And he's like, no. I'm a number 1. And that's why the Heat have been able to take this step because Jimmy Butler fell into that one role and everyone fell underneath him. Hero, bam. The Knicks are doing the opposite.
Maybe that's just the way the Heat are structured because they don't have anybody better than Jimmy Butler on the roster.
But Butler's also risen. Like, this was R.J. Barrett's year to rise. Okay, Julius Randle showed he can do something. Derrick Rose played pretty well. Rise, R.J. Barrett. And he rose. He's averaged like 18 or 19 a game, and he was a better player, but he's not a number 1.
And he had some big ball games, too. Yeah,
he's
really
a good
did.
player. And Obi Toppin can play. They have a lot. Look, and they love the...
Toppin looked like a bust early on and then came on at the end of the year when he had an opportunity
young guy
to
they
play.
love quickly. They love quickly. Nick fans fall in love with guys that show promise for 4 minutes and then barely play. And they're like, see, if he
Kevin
plays...
Knox, right? Remember that guy, Knox?
So that's the problem with the Knicks. They have a lot of nice
Mike,
players. I know, Vaccaro.
Mike Nyman. That was for our buddy Mike Nyman there. He loved Knox.
It's just that's the problem with the Knicks roster is it's a lot. And what's really bad for them is this isn't a shitty East anymore. Like the Hawks now, who were in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago, are even better. The Bucks, the Nets, the East is really good now. So there's really not a lot of room to be around 500 and think you're going to do something.
Well, and the Celtics, you left out of that equation there.
There's a whole list.
All right, so the gist of it, this Dejounte Murray, is that how you pronounce it? Dejounte Murray?
I think so. That's all I've ever heard.
Okay, I'm going to say Dejounte Murray. Okay, makes some sense. Anyway, so he is traded to the Hawks yesterday, and it was a big deal. It involved 3 first-round picks and a player, and the expense was high for Atlanta to get this guy. But Vaccaro was saying that this was part of Plan A for the New York Knicks, that Leon Rose wanted to get Brunson and then also have this Dejounte Murray, and that would have given them a backcourt that they haven't seen since they had Clyde Frazier and Earl Pearl Monroe. That would have been a steadying influence, and yet the expectations were still reasonable, Lubie, because Mike Vaccaro was saying in the column that wouldn't have made them necessarily top echelon elite NBA Eastern Conference type of material, but at least they would have good players. Yes. And you can have all the future draft picks that you want if you don't have good players. And it's a kind of a Pat Riley philosophy.
Yep.
Those things are collecting dust somewhere it's almost like cryptocurrency, right? What is it? I don't know. You have all of this draft capital, as they call it in the NFL. It's probably more valuable in the National Football League than it is in the NBA because usually there are only a handful of guys that come out of any college draft that could be immediately impactful with the team and actually have like a significant impact in changing the direction of a franchise within the first couple of years.
Well, and a lot of the time, they're all over the place. Like it's a top 10 pick doesn't guarantee you a damn thing. Like
nothing.
Jokic.
Look at Zion Williamson, right? What's he done for the Pelicans?
And Jokic was in the middle of the second round. Like Giannis, who's all world, and they're doing movies about him. It was in the middle of the first round. Like, so you're not getting these picks doesn't guarantee you a damn thing.
No. Interesting crop of free agents, though. And and it's wild that the Heat would even be mentioned, right? This is like a Clockwork Orange, right? Your name was mentioned. Yes. To derail this whole Jalen Brunson to the Knicks deal, which has been probably the easiest equation to make out of the available free agents. But James Harden, I mean, this was a weird move for James Harden. You don't expect this to take a shot. And now he's obviously, if he stays with Philadelphia, not going to get paid the same money that he opted out of.
No.
But he supposedly did this with the idea that, hey, let's go get somebody good. And then with Embiid, me, and whomever else you get, if they're a high caliber player, we're going to have a shot to win it all because they weren't that far out of it last year, right? If Doc Rivers isn't their coach, maybe they win the NBA championship last year.
Put it this way, the Heat still went to 6 games with them, and Embiid was not himself by any estimation. So he probably lose that if Embiid's himself. So
yeah, and Harden, I guess, was having problems again with what was he having hamstring issues again, James Harden, or was he just having eating issues? He looked to be out of shape. There's a body shame. See, I mean, it's equal opportunity here because we're ashamed of our bodies.
True,
and should be. Right? I mean, we don't make any.
I'm not proud right now.
Qualifications, about the idea that we're not in the same category as Serena. Trust me, I know that feeling. Serena, I mean, it was always large compared to the other girls. I mean, she looked like a fullback out there, playing tennis, but she did have kind of amazing agility for somebody that was that out of proportion. Yeah. With the average-sized woman's tennis player. I mean, it wasn't like she was lacking for court coverage or anything like that. And she would make certain, athletic moves that you thought, wow, I mean, this woman's really just unbeatable. Whether she comes back, I don't know. I think she comes back maybe and plays the U.S. Open just as maybe a fond farewell. That would be if she doesn't do well there. Maybe she finally, it hits her that maybe she already realizes that it's over after this Wimbledon embarrassment, because to lose to this girl Tan, I mean, that's inconceivable. If Serena came back 20 years from now, I think she beats Tan if she's in any kind of shape. When you see these people playing like Harmony Tan did at Wimbledon at the park, you kind of go, those guys really should take some lessons. It's Rodney Dangerfield time there, right? Here's some money. Why don't you take some lessons? All right, speaking of lessons, wow. I mean, it's already time. We have Gurgs on board here for the Hialeah Park. There he is. The handsome one himself, Dave Gurggles Gergely.
What are we holding?
What do you got there? Trivia
cigars? The trivia?
Oh, the Hialeah Park.
Oh, Hialeah Park. Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice. The Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge is coming up. We couldn't see it. Plus, it's backwards unless you're Greg Louganis. You couldn't read that thing.
Unless you're Greg Louganis. Yeah, he was.
So what did that mean in terms of his perspective on seeing where the water was in the pool? And how did he ever, as a dyslexic, dive off the Acapulcan cliffs? I guess vertigo would be worse to have, right? Wasn't there a diver, a female diver that had vertigo? That's not a good thing.
How can you do that?
Stumble into the pool there. Look at that. We're going to get 8.6. Diving is scored on a lower level, isn't it? Isn't it like on a 6 point? No. Do they give 9 nines in diving?
Yes, I think it goes up to 10.
It goes up to 10, yeah?
I think. I haven't paid attention to diving in a long time. I think so.
Those judges in diving are a little bit too particular for my taste. I mean, a guy hits like a dive that you couldn't even fathom, like doing 2 somersaults and 8.5 twists, hits the water, makes a little splash. Oh my God, that's going to be a giant deduction there. Can you believe this?
Splash. I was like, splash.
And all for this event? It's like, are you kidding me? I get a kick, if I can complete a cannonball. Are you any good at diving, Dave Gurggles Gergely? Diving for tickets, maybe in a garbage
No, but I remember someone getting almost a 10.0 in diving. I think it was Sonny Liston in Lewiston, Maine. That's the one I remember.
It's a different type of diving, yeah. But if they were scoring that one. Yeah, the referee was, here's a piece of trivia for you, Dave Gurggles Gergely. You know who the referee was for that fight? The second fight between Ali and Liston was Jersey Joe Walcott.
Was it? I was going to say, yeah. Wow.
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Wow.
And at one point, as the story goes, and I believe, if you took the Zapruder film and looked at this, Walcott's on like 9 and a hook. And supposedly Sonny Liston looks at him and says, should I get up yet?
Hurry up.
Can I get up now? And that was that, yeah. To his grave, our good friend Angelo Dundee, who I'm sure you got to know and met many times during the time he was here in South Florida. And, this was his home. To his grave, Angelo Dundee would insist that there was a solid punch landed by Ali that nobody saw but him.
Even the video. Even the video.
And he would tell me over and over again. He called me Steve. He always called me Steve. I never bothered to correct him because it's Angelo Dundee. And he said, it's those short, quick shots on the inside that really do the most damage. I said, yeah, Angelo, if they land. He could have hit him with a whisk broom and he would have gone down. What are you talking about there? Like if he's dusting off home plate. All right, how you feeling about the trivia challenge today? And we do have the number to call, which is 954-417-0070. Dave's got a ton of good questions, I'm sure, for today's contestants. And Lubie has the Landlubber's gift certificate that we're giving away here on the show. So you can dial us up. And we're more, than in favor of having the usual suspects participate in the program. 954-417-0070 if you want to line up for the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. What are you thinking today? I mean, what's going to be the gist of it? Do you have like a general theme? Saratoga opening?
I have Wimbledon. I've got some baseball. I've got some golf, all topical. I didn't go back to the 20s too much in these questions, at least. Right. But got some good I got some good Wimbledon questions, I think.
Because the 20s would put like, our listeners at like 102 and above. And I would say that would be our demographic, except I don't believe most of the guys that we hung out with or have known in our life are going to live that long, including us. I mean, because the damage that was done, I think, as the doctor says, as he looks at you with that fish eye, the damage you've done, Mr. DeForest, is unfortunately irreversible. Yeah.
But
not even
on a day like today,
what's that?
On a day like today, I think we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Vegas trip, right? Wasn't it right around this time?
Yeah, July 5th last year. So that was fantastic. And you know what? That was a nice way to ride into your septuagenarian years. It really was great. And thank you so much for coming out there. And Gurggles, Lubie, you can appreciate this. Naturally, just evolves into an MC role, which was fantastic.
Nice.
It was like MC in the roast at the dinner. It was great. All right, Hialeah Park, Gurgs. I mean, have you been out there lately? Yep. I know you're close by there, so you frequently go to the punch. You
no,
put in a
not
pick
since,
five on
think,
Belmont today. 305
not since
plus.
last Friday, I think. Last Friday, and I had a grievous error over the weekend. At Belmont, I follow, of course, Talking Horses with Andy and Acacia. But then there's another thing, if you look at Naira at Belmont, called the time form analysis. And Dave Aragon makes selected picks. So I always write them down ahead of time who he picked. I was betting a couple races at Belmont, and I'm running low on dough. I get some extra dough, and I said, well, let me bet this race at Laurel. I look up. The time form horse was a horse called Running with Scissors, and he paid $44.
Nice.
And I sat there with not a nickel on him.
Oh, shoot. There you go, man. That's always the way it is, right? I didn't bet a dime on
players lament.
This Harmony 10 the other day when I made the big stink about how I knew that Serena was going to get knocked out in the first round no matter who she played. And then I saw what I felt was a Don King setup fight where, somehow the committee found the one girl that Serena could beat. And she nearly did, but nonetheless went down in flames and plus 230 on the board there. Actually, I thought that was a short price on Harmony.
Yeah,
it is a short price.
Yeah, but I mean, there are only two people involved here. It's not like a horse race where, 2-1 is like, what? You bet the chalk? Okay, good. Keep your 680, you stupid fool.
You sound like
meanwhile,
me
you're
now.
cursing
like
out a guy who won while you're sitting there.
Exactly.
Brilliant strategist and handicapper with a bunch of losing tickets in your hand because you're, the bald one that's playing the long shots. Yeah, I wouldn't take that 2-1. Hey. What do you got, Defo? I got 6 tickets here at 6-1. None of them are worth the time. Hialeah Park, though, great place to go. I know, Gurgs, you're a big fan of the Brass Rail Bar up there in the Champion Simulcasting.
Yeah, it's a great place social-wise. You can go in there and have fun. You get I think Bud Light's like $3.50 or some ridiculously low prices. And then if you want to celebrate with the guys in there, they're screaming and yelling as soon as the gates open. Yeah. Or sometimes, like me, you want a little quiet. Get one of the nice little carousel tables with, I don't know, must be 66-inch screens with every racetrack across the country. And then if you want to go out and just get a little peace and quiet, I walk out to the front side, see the flamingos, have a Perdomo cigar while I'm there. And then if I feel luck, over to the casino and play some very loose slots over there as well.
And it's Steve Calabro, always smiling, huh? Because he knows he's treating the patrons right. I mean, he gets a good night's sleep every night, unlike you would think many casino operators that, probably should be sleeping with the fishes the way that they calibrate those machines. Great time. Hialeah Park, always a good vibe in there. Open till 5 a.m. on the weekends. Big July 4th thing, too. Might be a good time to get down there. Great racing all across the country.
Yes.
And then on top of that, they have all these specials going on, hot dogs and burgers, real Norman Rockwell type of stuff, like a slice of Americana that you can only get at Hialeah Park, one of the fabled destinations of any sport, and especially the sport of kings. You'll love the Champion Simulcasting Room. Make your plans to be out and take advantage of those great deals they have. I mean, why mess up the grill and get all greasy and pay a ton of money for burgers and hot dogs at the store when you could go have them made for you for like $3 to $5 at Hialeah Park on July 4th. Going to be a big celebration. All right, we're coming back with the Trivia Challenge. Jump on board if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. He's Mike Lubitz. The great Dave Gurggles Gergely going to conduct the competition. Word is, and this is much like the speculation about NBA free agency, word is the Polyman is going to be returning soon.
From who? Where is this word coming from?
Parts unknown.
I was going to say, who's talking to Polyman? I've talked to him months.
A masked wrestler came up to New Orleans.
Exactly.
And it turned out it was the mayor of the city.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's the kind of thing that happens in New Orleans, right? You know, like you think, hey, look at this. Wow, a masked wrestler just walking down Bourbon Street. What a great outfit. What a great idea. And it turns out it's the mayor. And they're saying, hey, please, do me a favor. Don't urinate on the Louis Armstrong statue, will you? You can find a bathroom somewhere. They have one in every bar. All right, back with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, brought to you by the great people in Hialeah Park with Dave Gurggles Gergely. I'm Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz on the Defo Show here on South Florida Live. And we'll be back to play the game in a moment. Now that.
The
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched, steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you?
Oh, so low, but
Folks, Tony Segreto here.
you'll be coming late. Oh, solo volante. The Belmont's now a mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
That unfortunately didn't work out as well as we had hoped when Luca ran in the Belmont Stakes there. Luca Panici, a big fan of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, though. I know that on firsthand authority, and especially a fan of Dave Gurggles Gergely, because he loves your ABA questions. Luca Panici happens to be an expert on ABA basketball. You'd find that surprising since he, originally was from Italy, the great country of Italy, and his father was a jockey. This was kind of in his blood, but always loved the ABA ever since Dr. J opted to go there, and he loves your ABA questions. So if we ever get him on as a celebrity participant on the show, Luca Panici, you can go ahead and fire off your best ABA questions and figure that he's going to get the sweep. All right, we're hoping some people. Yes, Gurggles. We lost Gurggles' audio there for a second. There. Did you turn your mic off there, Gurggles?
Yeah, you did. We lost it.
Yeah.
I got it.
There you go. Very
nice.
Yeah.
I would say if you're betting Gulfstream, put Luca in whenever he's in. He brings in some, as Fernando would say, some bombazos at Gulfstream. He brings in some bombs. He rides hard all the time. Luca Panici and Trevor McCarthy are the ones that will always finish out your try because they never quit riding, no matter how long the horse. But Luca won. And if it's an ABA question and he's from Italy, I'll make sure the answer is Melchione. So he'll be fine.
That made me go NBA, and it'd be Gallinari, right? But recently traded somewhere, I believe, as part of one of these.
He was in the Murray trade. He was traded to the Spurs.
Very nice. All right, we're going to get the game going here, and you can dial us up when the line is open. It's 954-417-0070. If you're getting a busy signal, just wait until we finish with the current player, and then you will be up next. So it's 954-417-0070. And Gurggles, I know you're fueled by the aromatic, sense of a Perdomo cigar, probably wafting somewhere in the distance there in the room that you're in. I don't know. It might be a little early to start smoking, but, when it's a Perdomo, it's never a bad time. We'll get the game started with a little tribute, much like we had there with the Polyman doing opera. And who knew, right? Is that like a Jim Neighbors type of thing? When you hear the Polyman's regular speaking voice. Good. And then all of a sudden he belts that out like he was Pavarotti. I mean, I thought that was sensational. But we paid tribute to yes.
And there's a rumor that we know where the Polyman is. I don't know if you know it, but with the climate conditions like they are, they found Lake Mead is down so low, they found a barrel with a body in it. And Paulie is supposedly out there identifying that person right now.
Yeah.
They believe it's mafia related. Yes.
Some dental records there. Yeah. Not that Polyman would hobnob and be hanging out with those kind of people.
No.
Not in your lifetime. All right. Let's pay tribute to the Polyman. Start the game with Dave Gurggles Gergely as the Polyman in some.
Easy baseball. This baseball player and later famous Mets announcer on Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds becoming the all-time father and son home run leaders said, quite dramatically, well, today, Bobby and Barry Bonds became the all-time father and son home run leaders. They will pass the father and son tandem of Buddy Bell and Yogi Berra. Who's that? None other than Ralph Kiner, Ralph Crandon, Ralph Bellamy, or Walt Bellamy.
And we are coming to you today, by the way, from Kiner's Corner here in New York. Here's a random phone scrambler to select our first player. And, wow, I mean, you talk about Casanova capabilities here. I mean, we know when the Polyman was cruising around fighting unattached. Remember, you used to go to O'Hara's there in Hollywood, Gurggles?
Yeah.
And the Polyman would leave with like a Joe Namath cachet of babes just surrounding him. It was unbelievable. Entourage of babes. And this man, Andy, is right there in that category based on just the glimpse I saw where this woman attached herself to him the minute he walked through the door at this party they were having for Mike Mayo's new app there, the best of Del Rey. Andy, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. Hey, speaking of Benici, he bailed me out on Sunday. He finally got a horse that had a shot. He went up at 9-1. He won by 3.
Nice.
And,
he gets his share of victories in the summertime. I mean, maybe not the highest percentage rider. He's not going to make you forget about the Pirate, Lafitte Pink Guy, but Luca Panici, always riding hard, as Gurggles would say. Now, are you still, is it over already? What's happening with the girl from the other night?
Well, I got COVID.
Oh, he really got COVID. Yeah, him.
Oh, my God.
Got COVID.
Isn't this like the fourth time? I mean, Dr. Fauci, what's going on with you?
I've been in isolation for the last few days. I think I'm going to test negative tomorrow, though. So I'm okay. I'm just stuck.
I hope so.
But
Right? And
good.
is that why the relationship didn't work out? I mean,
well, I don't say it didn't work out, but it's hard to come calling on the girl when you got COVID. You know?
been on hold. Yeah. All
You
right.
want to go out and do it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I hope you feel
hang in there.
okay and get better quickly. And the negativity comes about, as you said, with tomorrow's test. You do have 1 point, though. As much, as it's a downer to have COVID, you have 1 point in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, which is significant. All right.
You know what hurt us? It hurt us when she asked me, "What does degenerate mean?"
That's not good.
That can be a good or a bad sign with a woman.
Say.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
True or false question. Tennis. Though Wimbledon is generally a pretty big deal today, the first tournament was scheduled in 1877 as a fundraiser for England's then preferred sport of the day, croquet. True or false?
I think it's false.
That sounds true.
No, it's true.
Wow.
They were trying to raise money to buy a pony-drawn lawn roller to roll the croquet grass. Believe it or not, that's the truth.
Wow. I mean, and you said you weren't going to go past the 20s, but you went all the way to 1877. So, but the first true/false question.
That's 160.
That's bait and switch, Gurgs. All right, one going for 4 here.
All right, let's bring you up to current days then. Wednesday night, Jorge Soler of the Marlins singled versus the Cardinals for the Marlins' 40,000th hit. The 20,000th hit in 2000 it was by Luis Castillo, and the 30,000th hit in 2007 was by Matt Trainer. Both of those hits, the 20,000th and 30,000th, came versus the same team, and that team was Was it the Phillies, the Mets, the Cubs, or the Pirates?
I'll go with beat the Mets. Beat the Mets.
Beat the Mets.
Nope.
Come on out and beat the Mets. Bring the kitties.
Great song.
Bring your wife.
Lousy answer.
Wrong
It
answer.
was the Cubs.
It was the Cubs.
The Cubs.
That would have been a really difficult thing to actually know, though, Gurgs.
How
What
you
would
know
you think?
that?
I mean, that was 3 points. Wow. This 5-pointer
It was
must be a
current. It
doozy.
was current.
It was
It was
current.
current. And by the way,
All right.
Andy, thank you for the Guinness the other night. I'm not. That's why it's legit. I don't give you any sugar daddy questions. All right, here we go. Let's go to hockey. Who was the first player
This
born
is
in
worse
the United
than
States?
like a Supreme Court justice hearing where, you're on the opposite side of the appointee.
Isn't it ironic that the lady judge in the Deshaun Watson's case, his first name is Sue, of all things?
Wow.
All right.
Certain
And
irony there, yeah.
Supposedly she wasn't going to get paid. When she found out it was Deshaun Watson, she just wanted to do it pro boner. Okay, here we go. Hockey. Who was the first player born in the United States
Not bad,
to
Gurgs,
win the
not bad.
Conn Smythe Trophy? Who was the first player born in the United States to win the Conn Smythe Trophy?
Okay.
Brian Leach, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Quick, or Tim Thomas?
Leach.
That's right.
Correct?
1994. Well done.
Good job. You got
Good
6.
job, Andy.
in the
6
final.
points there. Very good. Was Tim Thomas a figure skater?
No, he was
Basketball
the
player?
Bruins.
No.
He played for the
Tim
Bruins. He was
Thomas
great.
played.
No,
There was a basketball player, but there was Tim Thomas too.
Tim Thomas
All right,
was the
very
guy
good.
for the Sixers, but also he was a great goaltender for the Bruins.
Very nice. All right. Well, that was good of Andy to nail that one. He came through like a champ
Yes.
with COVID-19. But I thought he told me he had it before. Every time he meets a chick, he gets COVID. It's
Yeah,
happened
it-
before.
well-
I ran into him, I want to say, like 6-8 months ago at the Funky Biscuit. He was sitting outside with a first-time starter, and he was getting along famously with this woman. And I asked him the next time that we spoke, I said, hey, what happened with this hot chick? She was all over you. And he said, oh, I got COVID. Maybe she got COVID. That could have been the thing.
It could have
Maybe
been
she
it.
told him she got COVID. How many chicks have blown
No.
off, second dates by saying, well, I'd love to go out with you again. It was a wonderful time, even though she hated every second of it. But I have COVID. and then that's it, right? Because time goes by, and eventually you just figure, hey, let's move on to somebody else. All right, Perdomo Cigars. Nobody ever moves on from Perdomo Cigars.
Perdomo
Once
Cigars.
they smoke one,
Matter of
that's
fact,
it.
I have just a little business card from Perdomo Cigars, and I'm looking at it. And of course, the address everyone knows: 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto, on the south side, a little east of the Home Depot. I was there yesterday. Picking up an order for the golf course. We sell them here at Miami Lakes Golf Club, and I'll be there tomorrow to say hello. But if you want a great cigar for the weekend, pick it up today or tomorrow, because Saturday, Sunday, they're closed, and 4th of July, they'll be closed as well, celebrating the holiday. So rather than have fireworks, why not light up a great cigar? There's no danger. You're out in the backyard. You're enjoying that smooth burn of an Edición de Silvio or a Lot 23 or a Maduro wrapper, whatever you like. Perdomo Cigars, simply the best. 305-627-6700, the number to call. And I had a Perdomo cigar horse yesterday. There's a nice lady that works at Silks called Andrea. She shares the same background as me and Coach Shula, Hungarian. There was a horse running at Indiana Horseshoe called Hungarian Princess. So I sent a guy out there to bet $10 for her on the horse. The horse win and pay $6. So she's got a nice $30 thing coming, and I'm out $10. But that doesn't matter. It'll come back to it's karma.
Do you deduct the money that you bet yourself
cigar
when you make one of those bets?
I gave the guy 10 to bet it for and give her the ticket. So not a problem whatsoever.
Right.
But put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars. Close this Monday. Go pick one up. Call them 305-627-6700. Online, www.perdomocigars.com.
That's from the book of Degenerate Etiquette, is it not? Now, if you buy a ticket for a teller, which I do, if I have a couple of bucks left, especially if I'm in like a casino race book, I'll say, here, box this 5-7 for $1 for yourself, right? Costs you $2. And if the person hits, maybe they take down like $30-$40, even on, a modest exacta. So, but would it be improper and out of, out of the realm of decency to say, hey, wait a minute, give me the $2 back and you keep the profit, right? Why should I lose money to the bet? Because you're basically tipping the person $2, essentially, is the way I look at it. So, it's not like you're entitled to the money back.
Well, you can avoid that whole dilemma because I do it with partners that I'm playing.
By losing.
Pick threes, pick fours, pick fives. No, you go up to the person and say, listen, give me a $2 box 5-7. And by the way, your partner's on this. You hold the ticket. And then if it comes in, you go to a different teller and then you leave completely.
Yeah, you never go back to that pari-mutuel clerk again.
Exactly.
I remember I hit some try where I had bought the teller a ticket because she had actually punched out a mistake, right? So I had her punch out the ticket, keep that ticket, and punch one out for me, and we both hit. And it paid pretty well. It was like, significant, like several $100s. And I came back like a couple of weeks later, and the lady was actually like sobbing with thanks, saying that this was the money that she paid for her daughter's tuition to get into whatever school it was.
Jeez.
She had to make like a $400 payment, like right up front, and had no way of coming up with it. And I was like, well, then it was meant to be, right?
There you go.
Because your mistake turned into good profit for all of us. But don't ever do it again.
Are you sure she wasn't sobbing because she took the Pistons -3 that night and blew all the money you gave her?
That would have been Larry the Leaper's story. Self-sabotage really does fuel the degenerate. You know what? I experienced that myself for a rare time on recent casino trips on this latest episode in New Orleans, where I could have quit while I was ahead, which is no shame, right? But nope, got to send it back in, and ended up swimming in a sea of red ink at the end of 3 days, and drowned my sorrows with several hurricanes on my way to the airport. All right, that is weird to have a drink so popular there that's named Hurricane after, the last 20 hurricanes have hit New Orleans and Houston, Texas?
Yeah, exactly.
They only have one target now. It's incredible. All right, coming back with more. We'll get another, as many players as we can. And Gurg is going to be with us till about 8:30 here with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hialeah Park open till 5 a.m. on a weekend, so that starts tomorrow, and it goes all the way through Monday, I guess, this week. Because Sunday night, you can't imagine they're going to go, hey, wait a minute, no, you got to close. And you have the July 4th celebration coming up legitimately on Monday. July 4th is actually on the day that it's being celebrated as a day off for everybody in the United States of America, except maybe that Capitol Hearing Committee. They might be working that day. We got more on this guy. We got more on it, more dirt. And anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun because, if you celebrate America like the people at Hialeah Park do, wow. I mean, I think it's like $3 hot dogs, Gergs. And you know what they do there when it comes to the food. This isn't some chintzy mini dog that you
food.
get, if a guy's got a tray in front of you at a bar mitzvah. We're talking about like a real great hot dog. And the burgers, too, are going to be like $5 that day. So, and I would imagine they have all kinds of drink specials as well. Check that out at HialeahPark.com. And we're big fans, of course, of Hialeah Park, have been since the day we stepped through the doors for the first time. And that goes back over 40 years for both of us, Gurggles and me. And Lubie became a fan immediately just from the ambiance there, right? He's not even a gambler. He's not a sick degenerate. In fact, I think he frowns upon it. He used to.
Frown upon it.
Well, he started dreaming about getting money from FanDuel or some company, to sponsor the show. Now, he is a big fan of Operation. 230 to 1 on 2 to 1 on that tan girl. I mean, that was a ripoff, wasn't it? Come on, man. Martina's up there.
What
pushing.
was it on the other side?
You had to lay 270 to win 100. 270 to win 100 on Serena. Think about that. People did that. Like, I mean, what kind of astonishing fool do you have to be to think that after seeing her make her first public appearance on the courts like the week prior, there was no chance that she was going to win the tournament, certainly, and very doubtful she was going to get through a round. What a chump they put her in against, too. It was unbelievable. All right, back with more of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment. Now that
the time,
it's 7:57. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubber's Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show, the Defo Show here on South Florida Live. Jeff DeForest, we got Mike Lubie Lubitz. He's at the controls and navigating our way through the game here, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We have our game underway. We have Andy establishing the lead with 6 points. An excellent effort to nail that 5-point question. Just fantastic. And, of course, always brilliant on the first question, as are many of our contestants. You can dial us up if you want to play when the line is open. It's 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Later on, Mike Vaccaro, outstanding columnist from the New York Post. Many things going on there, including the Mets and Yankees atop their divisions, and then all of this speculation about the New York Knicks on the day of Lubie's favorite sports topic, and that is NBA free agency opening up. So, wild rumors and speculation as to what's going to happen. And could Pat Riley stick it up the rear end of the New York Knicks one more time, even though he has no interest in the particular player that they're going after? That would be great, huh? And then what do? Do they fire, Brunson's father as an assistant coach? Yeah, we didn't want him anyway. Get out of here. Crazy how they loaded it. It's Nick Saban-esque. It really is what they did over there. All right, ready for our next contestant here. Dave Gurggles Gergely has been doing the honors with the questions, and we have Andy with 6. So here we go, our next set of questions with the great one himself, Mr. Perdomo, Dave Gurggles Gergely.
And a perfect segue from what you were talking about. Swimming and diving is the topic.
Nice.
This late comedian on the sport of cliff diving summed it up as follows. There are only 2 categories in cliff diving. There's grand champion and stuff on a rock. What's that? Norm Macdonald, Tommy McDonald, McDonald Carey, or Cary Grant?
They always used to have the announcers issue many warnings that, hey, you know what? If this guy mistimes the tide by even a split second, it's Splat City, my friends. So did we watch it? I mean, it was like watching a NASCAR race for the crashes.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how did they do that anyway, man? Can you imagine a polyman as an Acapulcan cliff diver? That's the one thing I'm surprised he didn't try. He's a very adventurous character, the polyman. I could see him up there, the little feet on the rock. And, just doing like, a 2.5 twist, 3.5 somersault right into the little pond there, timing the tide perfectly so he didn't hit his head on the bottom. All right, so we have Lenny the Chronic. Lenny the Chronic, you are next up here after the roll of the random phone scrambler on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. How are you, Lenny?
Hey, guys. I'm doing good. Good morning.
Good morning, Lenny
Good morning,
the Chronic.
Lenny.
Any travels, anything, any adventures of Lenny the Chronic lately since the Saratoga trip?
No, but there's a little horrible news. My buddy Ron, his daughter was in a big car accident.
Oh, no.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
That's horrible.
Wow.
Wow. Well, certainly our condolences. Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
All right. Well, on that note, though, you do have 1 point, and you're in the game.
All right, Lenny, football, true or false? And please give Ron my condolences. Nice guy, and I hate to hear that.
Good guy, man.
Right,
Great player on the
all
show.
right, football, Lenny, true or false? According to TMZ Sports, none other than Usain Bolt said he would be interested in suiting up for an NFL team as a wide receiver only if it was the Patriots or the Packers. True or false?
I'll say false.
I'll say false.
No, that's true. That's true. Yep, that's true.
Wow.
Wow, Usain Bolt playing in Green Bay? Can you imagine? I don't think there is enough thermal underwear to keep that guy warm after competing in Jamaica all those years. That'd be crazy. All right, we should have just assumed, Lenny, you were going to whiff on the true-false question. That happened to be a particularly devilish one there from Gurggles. But going for 4 points now, this will put you in second place.
All right, baseball, Lenny. Yesterday, June 29th, marked the 35th anniversary of the game in which both Don Mattingly and Dave Winfield each hit grand slams to propel the Bronx Bombers to a 15-14 comeback win over...
Ooh.
Was that the Tigers, the Red Sox, the Royals, or the Blue Jays?
Let's go with the... What was the first one? I'm going to go with the first one.
There were Tigers, Red Sox, Royals, or Blue Jays?
Tigers.
He says Tigers. I say Blue Jays.
No, the Blue Jays is exactly correct. That's who it was.
Ooh.
It was sort of a guess, but not a particularly educated one. Just a blind guess. I ended up getting that one, Lenny. You have a shot to tie for the lead, though, and opportunity to get yet another. Do you have your bedroom wallpapered with Landlubber's gift certificates that have gone uncanned?
Right on top of my funky biscuit ones.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, very nice. Are those still being honored? Because those were from like 9 years ago, Lenny. I don't know if you want to go back there with that. Polniak, if he had hair, it would be standing up like Don King. All right, here's your 5-point question. Good luck to you.
All right, Lenny, it wouldn't be you without the ABA. in 1973-74, American Basketball Association season saw the San Diego Conquistadors acquire Wilt Chamberlain as a player. The NBA sued, and he couldn't be a player, so instead he became their coach, with his assistant Stan Albeck really running the show. That team, under Chamberlain and Albeck, finished in a tie for fourth place in the Western Division, and who did they defeat in a one-game playoff to get into the playoffs?
Wow.
Was that Denver, Utah, Houston, or Kentucky?
You hate Lenny.
Were you on some kind of psychedelic drug last night, Gurggles, when you came up with this question? That's a wild one.
Let's go with Denver.
Denver. He gets
and
it.
he gets it. He gets it. That's right.
Good for you, Lenny. I'm actually rooting you on these days. Gurg's being so mean. It's been the finals. I'll give you a call, Lenny. Thanks, bud.
All right, Lenny, hang in there, man. And once again, I don't know. You can't say anything. It's just such a horrifying thought to have
Ron
one of your children.
Plays every week here. He comes to trivia every week, and he's actually brought his daughter. Like, she's a sweet girl.
Oh,
like,
God.
Wow. Trivia. Wow. Like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Every day is a gift, guys. Every day is a gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're telling me, man. I'm on borrowed time. Going to be 71 coming up next week.
Yep.
Hopefully in Atlantic City, yes.
2 weeks from today, I will be on a lounge chair in the Maldives.
Oh, that's
over
right.
An infinity pool. That's right.
Maldives.
Now, are you fighting unattached on this? Or
No. I've got the best kind of accompaniment. She paid half the fare. Even better. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. How do you work these deals out, Gurggles? I mean, how are you not a major negotiator for the United States in their international relations with Russia? Come on. If you could work out something like that.
I'm having enough trouble with local relations, let alone international, so I'll just stay on that basis.
This is, a dream situation. You got a wild exotic vacation, and she's paying her share of the ticket.
Absolutely.
And no obligation after, right? I mean, nothing.
No.
Wow.
None whatsoever. We'll just go and enjoy. That's it.
Boy, that's a hell of a concept, Gurgs. I mean, you should be doing more public speaking and addressing, companies and various, places where they try to solve problems in relationships. Because this formula that you have is just absolutely spectacular. All right, we're coming back with more, and you can dial us up if you want to play at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Later on, we take a deep dive into the New York sports scene. Hey, what are you talking about the Big Apple for? Here, we're in Florida. Go back there, you New York Jew. Did I have to throw in Jew on it? I mean, what was the point of that?
No, you didn't have to. No.
There's a lot of stupid
stuff
going on.
I love the
with
guy,
that
too. I always read Vax Wax at the end of Mike Vaccaro's column. Really
right
good.
up your alley.
Really
Gurggles.
good.
If you were a columnist, it would be Gurgs, Blurgs, or whatever. But Vax Wax, always great. Very insightful. I mean, you get a feeling about what's going on, and you can kind of feel the pulse of the New York sports beat through the words and observations of one Mike Vaccaro. He's going to join us about 8:35 this morning after the trivia challenge is concluded. We'll try and get in a few more players, too. So dial us up if you want to play. The Landlubber's gift certificate is at stake here. If you're from out of town, out of the state, out of the country, that may not be your so-called cup of tea, but nonetheless, the achievement, the distinction of being a champion on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge is good enough. And if you ever do come to town, we'll take out the Landlubbers. We'll use your gift certificate. And, we'll buy a drink. On a long shot that happens. 954-417-0070 if you want to play the game. He's Dave Gurggles Gergely. I'm Jeff DeForest. Mike Lubie Lubitz. Now, one of the things that we'd love to do, and hoping Gurgs can join us down there, and maybe we could do a trivia challenge one day at Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. If you were looking for like a great staycation, you could go where Gurgs is, and the great hospitality taking place there at the newly named Graham Hospitality. Is that
Miami Lakes Golf Club. That's where I'm at, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But I've been to Jimmy Johnson's, and the thing is, surprisingly short drive. And you leave Miami, you get down there, and you're in another world. And you got the great view, and the food and beverage is terrific as well. If we had a scheduled night to do a trivia night there, would be fun, and we'd have a bunch of Jimmy Johnson questions. we could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, no, you could come up with a zillion Jimmy Johnson football career questions, and in general too, with all the different things he's done since with his broadcasting career and his fishing tournaments and all the stuff that he does. Book coming out, by the way. Dave Hyde, our good friend Dave Hyde, wrote a book with Jimmy about Jimmy Johnson, and his whole persona and his career, and that's coming out in November. So that could be a hoot. I forget the name of the title. Do you remember what it was, Libby? The Jimmy Johnson book?
Swagger. It's nice and simple.
Swagger.
Fits Jimmy Johnson very well. The guy created Swagger. His teams, at least.
Right? Coming in there. Hey, we're wearing the fatigues, man. We're going to kick your ass. And then all of a sudden, Vinny throws 6 picks and it's over. Right? Might have been the most deflating sporting event in the history of South Florida sports. Maybe even more so than the Tampa Bay Lightning sweep. Remember that? Everybody thought that was a cinch.
Yeah, or that, or the Flutie pass, I would guess, would be 2 of the ones. Yeah. But I was screaming. I'm a Penn State fan, but I was screaming for Miami to win. Run the ball. Give it to Melvin Bratton. Don't pass it. There it was. Yep.
That final interception there. Pete Giftopoulos, a slug of a linebacker, and he's getting in the way of and they're just marching down the field now. I mean, they can't do anything wrong all of a sudden. And then that was the final exclamation point. I would say more deflating than the Flutie pass play, simply because of the significance of the game. The Canes are going to win a national championship if they win this ball game, and they're supposed to blow Penn State off the face of the earth, much like Serena was with this Harmony 10. All right, dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. We're going to come back with more. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. Great place. I mean, for the July 4th weekend, Lubie, can you imagine?
Wow.
It must be a blast.
Chilling out there, my God. And you can just stop in on your way down to other destinations in the Keys and get some of the best food and drink and great service and ambiance that you will find anywhere. And as Gurggles said, a situation where it literally feels like you stepped off the face of the earth and into some Thoreau-type utopia. Right? I mean, you just feel that good when you're down there. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, great vibe, mile marker 104, the Overseas Highway in Key Largo. All right, coming back with more. Mike Lubie, it's Dave Gurggles Gergely. I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll wrap up the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, play a few more people and get to the finals. And then Mike Vaccaro, the New York Post, later on in the program. And we'll return with more in a moment. Now that.
Time!
It's 8:12.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep, to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
right, welcome back to the show. As we are contesting the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, as usual on these Thursdays, and we always thank the people of Hialeah Park for supporting us throughout the years. Mike Lubie, Dave Gurggles Gergely, and I'm Jeff DeForest. Hot game working here with a dead heat right now for the first position on the board. Andy had 6, and Lenny also had 6 points. So we'll see if we can break that tie and or maybe produce a couple of new players that will evolve and make their way into the finals here in this last segment of the Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up if you want to play at 954-417-0070. Hey, what's at stake? We have Landlubber's gift certificate and, of course, as we said, the fine distinction. We ought to get some kind of championship belt, some cheesy wrestling belt like the Intercontinental Championship of some minor league wrestling circuit. See if we can buy that, and then just we pass it around like the Stanley Cup. You have to give it back, and then we give it to the new champion every week.
Every week, okay.
All right, and well, we don't care what extremes we have to go to get the belt to you, and then obviously to get it back, so we can give it away on the next show. But we do have the Landlubber's gift certificate and the distinction, as we said, of winning. And also, I mean, what other show can bring you Paulie Man doing opera and Lubie doing Shakespeare in the same show? Very unusual combination here, but I mean, it's like pre-Ed Sullivan type of shtick material that we have going on the program here, and hopefully it's working for you guys. All right, Gurggles has some more sets of questions, and we'll get right to it. Play as many as we can before we head for the finals here of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. So here we go. Our next set of questions, the great one, Mr. Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Golf. This Irish-born golf announcer on Nick Faldo, the other announcer's attraction to younger women, once said, "I'm so sorry Nick Faldo couldn't be with us this week on TV. He's attending the birth of his next wife." What's that? David Faraday, David Dougherty, Professor Moriarty, or PJ Flaherty?
That's great. I got distracted there for a second because I'm watching a little Wimbledon, and Jeremy Schaap is conducting the interview with the winning player, the American Taylor Fritz, who just advanced to the third round. All right, we have Mike on the line. Mike, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. A
is correct, my friend. You're in the game.
Hoops, Mike, true or false? During the recent Golden State Warriors celebratory parade, the parade stopped with security guards to allow Draymond Green to get off the float and go into a Girardello's ice cream shop. True or false?
Oh, that's true.
Sounds true.
Yes, it is.
That's such a
very
Draymond.
nice.
It is.
Yeah, that's a Draymond move.
Did he foul 2 people along the way?
Yeah, exactly.
He did not, but I think he ordered mint green ice cream. I don't know why you'd even go in for that, but who knows?
Well, I mean, what is it? Girardelli's? I mean, that place is, world renowned, right?
Yeah, but chocolate chip and
Yeah.
that's a weird move.
Not that many sights to see. I don't know. San Francisco, is it overrated as a sightseeing city? Good food city. You go to the wharf there. You see the sea lions. You take that tour of Alcatraz. That ain't much, right? You figure, okay, well, some of my friends that were bitching about being there, they probably had a legitimate beef. And then what, right?
Oh, Sausalito.
Yeah.
You got to go outside of San Francisco. San Francisco itself.
You watch them turn the streetcar around. Don't you watch that? The streetcar gets turned around.
That's
and
exciting.
You hop on and you start singing the Rice-A-Roni song. Yeah, I mean,
You think you're going to see Carl Malden running out of a burning building, chasing
Although,
some criminal?
I don't know if you saw the early morning news that in San Francisco there was 3 men that mugged a woman in San Francisco earlier this morning. One of them knocked her down. The other 2 started doing her hair. Okay, moving right along. Let's see. All right.
Wait a minute. Disclaimer.
I know.
We just started this channel, Gurggles. Those are the words of Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Yeah, we're on
his
YouTube
opinion
now.
alone.
I thought there's a little more.
There's a lot.
They seem overwhelmingly prejudiced, biased, and are despicable in any way.
Big board. You're not touching the professor.
No, you're okay. You're well within the realm of good taste.
3-point question.
Yeah.
3-point question. Tennis of all things, Mike.
No,
Serena
wait,
Williams'
did we
first
do the
round
true
loss.
false? Did we do the true false?
Yeah,
We did.
He got the true false.
Yeah,
Okay,
he got it correct.
Draymond getting ice
I lost track of time.
That sucked.
All right, 3-point question. Going for 5 here, Mike.
Serena Williams' first round loss at Wimbledon to Harmony Tan, although unexpected, was not the first time she lost in a major in the first round. That occurred in the French Open back in 2012 when she lost in the first round to Was
Good
that
question.
Yaroslava Shavoda, Sarah Arani, Emma Radukari, or Virginie Razzini?
Oh.
Those are all legitimate names.
Virginia Ruzich.
Explain that. You had to explain it.
She's retired 30 years ago.
C.
What's
C.
that? C. No, it was C. He said
Huh?
C.
He did say
He
yeah.
said C.
Yeah, he wasn't going
He
to try
is
the
in
name.
No, it was Virginie Razzini, D, as in dog, in 2012. First round loss.
Well, the young Italians really playing razor-sharp tennis today, and too much for Serena to handle. Boy, what a stroke job on Serena they were doing on the air. Somebody pointed that out to me, saying it was like, just ridiculous the way that Chris Fowler and Caroline Wozniacki, were slobbering all over Serena during the entire broadcast. And the chick's losing, right? Not a word about the other woman who, how she won with that. I mean, you like trick shots and stuff like that, Gurggles, in basketball and tennis. You'll hit that slice and dice and stuff. Remember when you played. And that's all this girl had to offer, nothing. And Serena went down. Unbelievable. I didn't bet a dime on it, right? Plus 230 was
I knew
too short of a price for me.
You were bitter about it, yeah.
He's never talked about something as much in his life. If he had won, he wouldn't have talked about it the next day.
5-point question.
That's
Put
it.
you on top, Mike.
Just give me the
Late in the game, too.
All right, Mike, let's get you back into baseball. Entering Wednesday night's game, the Miami Marlins' 57 stolen bases were second in all the major leagues.
Wow.
To what team or to whom?
Wow,
the Red Sox, the White Sox, the Blue Jays, or the Rangers?
White Sox.
I'm going to go Rangers.
No, that's why I put both Sox in. Texas Rangers with 62 stolen bases.
I think they have
That's
the league
You're
leader
out,
on their
Mike.
roster.
You're out, but thanks for playing.
I
my
was
friend.
perusing some stats the other day. All right, Mike's out of it. Andy and Lenny in a dead heat at 6. If you'd like to play, we'll try and squeeze in another at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. And Gurgs, I'm telling you, you can't say enough good things about Perdomo Cigars. So while we set up our next caller here at 954-417-0070, another word, please, about your favorite brand. And they've been with us for a long, long time, like 25 years that you've been with us. Wow, that's devotion, huh? I think all 40 years I've been in South Florida, Hialeah Park has been behind me. That's remarkable. And I know you have great affection for Nick Perdomo and the entire crew over there.
Yeah, there's two winners right there, Hialeah Park and Perdomo Cigars, and you combine the both of them if you like this weekend. So Perdomo, I'll go in to see him probably tomorrow. They're open Monday through Friday, family business, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but they're known worldwide. They had the number one cigar in Germany just a couple of years ago. Every time I get golfers coming from out of town and I tell them I'm affiliated with Perdomo, they go, wow, where is it? And I said, it's not even a mile and a half from here. I take them there. Nick will take his time to tour the factory with them, show everything that they've got there. They make them perfect one at a time. They're Cuban seed tobacco grown in Nicaragua, and they're easy to get to. 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of the Home Depot, between 57th and 47th. You can't miss it. And Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, you want to get some for the holidays? Do it today, do it tomorrow, or go to any retailer near you that sells you a great Perdomo cigar. They will be closed celebrating the 4th of July. There's no one more patriotic than Nick as well. Former air traffic controller and a 4th generation now with Nick Jr. and his lovely wife, Lauren, in running the show as well. So today, tomorrow, go to Perdomo Cigars and pick something up. And if you miss them on the weekend, go to any tobacconist with you and find out what's so great about Perdomo Cigars. And you will celebrate the 4th with a Perdomo cigar.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about explosive, the taste, the aroma, just unbelievable, Perdomo Cigars. All right, we're going to squeeze in another player here before we go to the finals. Still not decided who's going to get there, as we do have Andy and Lenny with 6 points apiece. Mike was within an eyelash of getting there, or so it seemed, and then came up, he was thinking of Go Sox. He thought they still had Louis Aparicio. Running bases for him, right? What did Louis steal, man? Did he ever come close to 100, Louis Aparicio? The great Louis Aparicio.
I don't think so. I think maybe.
I mean, that was when Wills and Brock,
80s.
and even I don't know, Willie Davis was a blazing speedster.
Yeah.
Imagine that you had that was a whole different game, huh? Maury Wills, Willie Davis, 1-2 in the lineup.
No doubt about it.
As soon as they got on base, man, they were probably, in tandem going to steal second and third and then third and home. Unbelievable. But a different game today as everybody's going for the long ball.
Yep.
All right, so ready for our next player. And Dave, go ahead, fire away. Next set of questions.
Yep. And I believe our next guy might be a boxing fan, so let's give him a boxing question. This journeyman fighter, after a loss in the ring, explained to Dustley, Larry Holmes didn't beat me. He just won the first 15 rounds. Was that Randall Tex Cobb, Randall Cunningham, Billy Cunningham, or Billy Martin?
That was the fight that did it for Howard Cosell. Remember that? When Larry Holmes was beating the living daylights? Right. And do you remember who the referee was for that fight? When everybody at home, you were screaming, "Stop it, ref! Please stop it!" Holmes is Carlos Padilla was the referee for that fight. The great Filipino Flash. All right, we have Pat. You're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello, Pat. Pat.
Hey.
There you are, baby.
There's Pat.
There you go. The great thespian Pat. What did you think of Lubie's Shakespearean utterance earlier in the program? Did you catch that? Lubie doing Shakespeare?
I didn't catch it, guys. Sorry.
All right. You're lucky. All right, you have 1 point. You're really good.
Don't be sorry.
Somebody's having a good day. They missed Lubie doing Shakespeare. All right.
Football, Pat, true or false? Believe it or not, on Screen Grab, a pro shop from Seattle featured Seattle Seahawks number 6 Baker Mayfield jersey for sale. True or false?
All right.
Ooh. True.
True.
Yeah, true.
Very good.
When it was leaked, it was speculation he might be traded there. They took it down on Screen Grab when someone made us think about it.
All right. 2 points. Good job there, Pat, sniffing that one out. Gurggles have been very deceptive today, with the true-false questions. I mean, all of them could have gone either way. 2 going for 5 here.
All right, let's go back to baseball, Pat. The Philadelphia Phillies, my hometown team, the first major league team to lose 10,000 games. We want to know who was the last Phillies player to collect 8 hits in a doubleheader.
Wow.
Was that Chase Utley, Johnny Callison, Richie Ashburn, or Shane Victorino?
Ashburn.
Yeah.
Well
Nice.
done.
Yeah, wow,
1951 versus the Pirates. Way to go, Pat.
You know what Pat's buzzing around here? The possibility of a sweep. And this is the interesting aspect of this game, that if he doesn't sweep, he's eliminated from the competition, and it'll be Andy and Lenny in the finals. How about that? A lot riding on this thing. A lot riding on this.
All right, golf, Pat. In the 2021 Olympics on August 1st, Xander Schofield recorded a final round of 67, who just won this last week's tournament, to win the Olympic gold medal. And he beat whom in that gold medal round?
Wow.
Was that Victor Hovland, Rory Sabatini, Justin Thomas, or Werner Klemper?
That would be B.
B.
Rory Sabatini,
Nice
yes.
job. Wow.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know, Werner Klemper played Colonel Klink on Hogan's Heroes. Thought I'd throw him in there.
I was trying to figure out what his handicap was.
Hang around finals, my friend.
There wasn't really much opportunity to golf there in Hogan's Heroes. All right,
Well done,
Pat's going to be in the finals here, and we're going to decide with the Random Phone Scrambler who gets in between Andy and Lenny to oppose Pat for the championship of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We will have Mike Vaccaro coming up in just a few minutes. An awful lot of steam around New York City with many things happening, including this latest, which Mike had a great column in the New York Post, the perspective on the New York Knicks and the fact that what is Leon Rose, the man who's pulling the strings with the Knicks personnel, what could he be up to? Because it looks like Plan A has gone out the window, and now he has an element of Plan B in place, but what's the rest of it? That was the question. So we'll get into that with Mike Vaccaro in just a few minutes. All right, the Scrambler landed on Andy, and we're going to square off Pat and Andy for the championship of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Guys, congratulations on making the finals. One of you is going to come out with the Landlubber's gift certificate and also the championship distinction. Dave's going to fire for a question. Call out your name if you'd like to answer. If nobody answers right away, we offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first chance. So we go back and forth until we have a winner. So for the championship of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Good luck, guys. We're giving you a hockey question. In 1994, when the New York Rangers won the champion.
Guys.
Oh, what happened? We lost everybody.
Okay.
All right.
All right, hold on.
That gives us a chance to do a little tap dance in here.
Who was in the finals when I get them? Now.
When you get them.
Oh, okay.
And now they're.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. You got them?
You got them?
Now.
Okay. I thought, we're watching you, Lubie. It looked like you were.
There they are. When I do that.
All right, so you guys know the rules here. You're veteran players here. So, Gurggles, go ahead and fire up the question.
Hialeah Sports Trivia Challenge, take 2.
There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
In 1994, when the New York Rangers won the Stanley Cup championship, which was the first television show that the Stanley Cup appeared on after the Rangers had won the championship?
All right.
Was it A, Coach's Corner with Don Cherry? Was it B, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno? Was it C, WOR Late News with Len Berman? Or was it D, Late Night with David Letterman?
Anybody?
D. Pat.
Pat, what was it?
Late night.
Late night. David Letterman. That's correct.
That's exactly correct. Lenny tried to wait him out to limber down the chances. Didn't work this time, Lenny. Way to go, Pat. Late night with David Letterman.
Firing, the other 3 answers off. All right, congratulations to Pat. That was a great addition to the game. Well done, Dave Gurggles Gergely, as always. And well done to all of our contestants, the people that are tuning into the show. Absolutely fantastic to have you guys on board here. Mike Vaccaro going to join us. Gurggles, you're off to the Maldives when? When's that happening?
2 weeks from I leave July 12th, and I don't arrive till the 14th. But that's okay. Flying Qatar
Airlines. How are you traveling by? Rickshaw. I mean, how are you getting there?
No, Qatar Airlines, which is a great airline, from Miami to Doha. Very nice Doha.
How long does that take?
Well, I'll leave the 12th and I'll get there the 14th, but I'm not worried about it. Not at all. Now, and in the meantime, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, if you like trivia, not only sports, join Lubie and the Professor at Landlubbers. Not only great food, great service, they do a super job on that show. They really, really do. I'm not going to go there because Lenny and the boys would like to win for a change. But Mike and the Professor, really great job at Landlubbers. Stop there tonight. Food is terrific. The service even better. And the trivia show, a lot of fun. So quick promo for you guys. Are you off to Atlantic City, Jeff?
Yes, theoretically, yes. There may be a snag there,
okay.
but
Theoretically mean.
No further questions. No further questions.
Yeah, I'm taking a fifth on that right now.
Oh,
all right,
no.
All right.
Gergs, we'll see you
next week.
Eventually we'll see you again.
I love you, Gergs. You're the best.
Next week.
17 hours to Doha.
We'll see you next
week. To Andy, who was right there at the finish line. Yes. All right, we're coming back. Mike Vaccaro going to join us here. A lot to get into. Lubie's favorite subject of speculation and rumor and, all kinds of nonsensical, theoretical, conspiracy type of stuff. And that would be NBA free agency. And it's having a big impact on the teams in New York. You also had the Kyrie thing happen with the Brooklyn Nets earlier in the week that Mike had a great column about Kevin Durant, how professional he is. The Heat's name has been mentioned in all of these things that seem to impact New York, as if Pat Riley himself wanted to continue to cast a curse and a spell over the New York Knickerbocker organization, and maybe even had it in for the Nets as well. So we'll get into it with Mike Vaccaro in just a moment here on the show. I'm Jeff DeForest. He's Mike Lubie Lubitz, returning with Mike in a moment. Now that.
The time!
It's 8:34. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Robert Klein, a pleasure. Huge fans and been bombarded with messages and texts attesting to your brilliance and how much they have enjoyed your work over the years, and still outstanding. Thanks so much. I don't know if you have 1 second real quick.
Yeah.
The Bronx Olympics would look like what? I called a friend of mine and I asked him if he was watching the fencing, and he said he thought that involved moving stolen merchandise. But the Bronx Olympics, so what would be the number one event?
The number one event would be the shout. Who could shout, yo, hey, yo!
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on The Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the Defo Show here on South Florida Live. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. It's always a pleasure for us to welcome this gentleman to the program, and we've been speaking of him a lot and referencing his columns in the New York Post, and it is true, Lubie. I could have had, it didn't happen, but I could have had my pocket picked by gypsies in Italy like Vito Annafermo did in the story that Joe Montagna told us. I could lose 500 at the track and just do the normal thing and shake it off like any degenerate would. But if I don't get my New York Post, I called circulation screaming yesterday twice to the point where they actually had to bring somebody else on to the phone there to help calm me down that I didn't get my Post. I can't live without it. And I open it up today, and of course, great column by Mike Vaccaro, who is joining us right now, and pertaining to the Knicks and what their situation is in free agency, which kind of got shaken up a little bit with this Dejounte Murray deal that took place, where he ends up with the Atlanta Hawks now, one of the Knicks' rivals in that kind of sector of NBA Eastern Conference hierarchy. And has Leon Rose, Mike Vaccaro, welcome to the show. Has Leon Rose called you yet and suggested what it is that he has in mind for Plan B now that one went up in smoke?
I don't believe Leon Rose owns a telephone. So, and not just because he seems to be a half step short of all these trades that other people seem to be able to make, but he hasn't explained himself to the New York media, to Knicks fans very often at all during his 2+ years in the job, and so I don't think he's going to. I think he's probably got one of those old cell phone plans where only gets about an hour free per month. So he's not going
Metro PCS, yeah.
He's not going to waste those minutes on me.
Well, and it's interesting because and not that this doesn't happen in New York City, in frequency with frequency, but 2 years ago he's been exalted as a genius, for what's happening. You had the breakthrough season with Julius Randle. It looked like things were going well. They had some draft capital, and it looked like they had some promising young players that they had selected, and then none of it really panned out. So. What do people think of him? Because last year, obviously, was extremely disappointing by any standard, and it seemed like they had regressed. So, what is the opinion of Leon Rose and the job he's doing, and especially if he doesn't come through with the assets that they need to at least get better in the coming season?
Well, in year one, I think he was able to get by the fact that he made a very good decision to hire Tom Thibodeau, especially in that year when Thibodeau was coach of the year. So Leon can take credit for that because he did hire him among a pool of candidates. So there was that, and the Derrick Rose trade really kind of put the Knicks, into a place where they could, they finished 10 games over 500, finished the fourth seed. The Rose trade was a really big reason why, and so Rose kept pointing to that too. But really, ever since then, he's made a couple of nice back end deals for the likes of Miles McBride. But I mean, his dealing and his yielded Kemba Walker, which was a disaster, and Evan Fournier, which was who was a terrible disappointment last year. And now you got this muddled mess of a team that would be lucky to compete for the play-in spot, and hasn't gotten any better yet. And what he seems intent on doing is collecting draft picks, which are lovely to have in your arsenal. But when you have 11 of them over the next 7 years, as the Knicks do, those are supposed to be your primary assets, and he hasn't done anything with them. And Dejounte Murray was an opportunity. Clearly, given what the Hawks gave up, I mean, it was very similar to what the Knicks had in terms of being able to force that deal if they wanted to, also. But clearly, they didn't. They either couldn't or wouldn't or didn't want to. We'll know that sometime in the next 15 or 20 years when Leon goes on the record again. And so now you're stuck with a team that's not. And now you're stuck with a team that's just not quite as good as it was last year. And last year they were good for 37 wins, and this is not good enough. Not in the Eastern Conference, certainly not in New York, and certainly not after in year 3 of what the Knicks fans had hoped would be something of a renaissance.
Mike, the Jalen Brunson rumors, it's funny. Even when it felt like the Knicks literally have done everything they can, Devo joked there's no better path for a free agent than what the Knicks have done. Former agent is Leon Rose, current agent Rose's son, so I'm sure it's Rose's agency. One of the assistant coaches is his father, so it feels like, and they were gonna give more money than Dallas was offering. Cool. Even then, it still felt like okay, so it makes the Knicks what, a 7th seed, 8th seed playing team. Now that's even up for grabs because the Mavs and the Heat are going all in on Brunson. Is this sort of make it or break it for Rose? Like, you just went down the list of things everyone thought were good moves that ended up not being good moves. Like, is this make or break for him? Like, are we literally on the hot seat already for a guy that everyone was heralding as such a great hire?
At the very least, he needs to close the Brunson deal. There's no question about that. If they were to ever lose Brunson at all, it would be a fiasco. If they lost it to the Heat, if one more time Pat Riley says, "Oh, by the way, hi, and we're going to sign this guy," and you make your life miserable, Knicks fans, which he's been doing basically intermittently for the last 25 years. It's just the last straw. He has to get that done. And look, I mean, the thing about Brunson, it's not like they're importing, Giannis. I mean, he's not that. He's a definite improvement over point guard, and it's testament to just how terrible the Knicks have been in that position for a long, long time. That, I mean, he would make them significantly better just because the one hallmark of Knicks games last year was just the chaotic way they approached the last 5 minutes of games because they had no point guard, or at least no reliable point guard once Derrick Rose went down, and losing Rose, and Rose is supposed to be a backup. They need an established, young, dynamic point guard, and Brunson provides that. He's not among the top 5 in the league, but he's certainly in the upper echelon of the league, and they need that. They need to sign him. That needs to be a must. If they lose that, I'm not quite sure how Leon survives, frankly.
Mike Vaccaro, the New York Post, with us here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, South Florida Live. Happy to have you guys with us. And Mike, I mean, there are no shortage of things happening on the NBA front in New York, not the least of which was, and I don't know, I mean, how good are you at dissecting the mind of a madman? And, what did you see in this whole Kyrie Irving thing? What was there ever even the slightest hint of a chance? I mean, no matter what, even if he thinks the earth is flat, he must be able to do basic math to realize that 6 is 1/6 of 36. What did you make of that whole thing? Where it was like a stalemate, I guess, with Marks and the people running the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving. But how predictable was it that he was going to, opt in for the $36 million when all he could make with the Lakers was 6?
Well, Uber predictable. I mean, look, it's the thing about Kyrie is that everything he does, he tries to make it sound like a sacrament.
Yeah,
and he tried to do that here. And look, I mean, nobody faults him for taking the 36 point whatever $million from the Nets that he had coming to him. I mean, no one faults him for that. No one faults him for not wanting to go to Los Angeles, which, like you said, I mean, $30 million left. I'm terrible at math, but even I figured that that's not as good a deal as the Nets were able to offer. So, but I think what makes Kyrie is that it's not enough just to see what's out there, but then he's got to make it sound like he's changing the world. Literally, talk that he change the world. Well, you know what? Changing the world would have been saying, well, you know what? I want to be happy and play for a team I'm more comfortable with. I'm going to take $6 million. That would have been earth changing. But I mean, and I think that's what gets a little cloying after a while. And look, I mean, this isn't new behavior for Kyrie. I mean, ask fans of the Cavaliers and the Celtics. I mean, after a while, his shelf life expires. And I'm not going to say it's expired with the Nets because he still played very well here when he's played. I do think the Nets fans are at the point where they're like, all right, Kyrie, let's give us 75 games. Let's see what we got, and let's see if we can take a chance at the title next year. And I mean, I think a lot of Nets fans are going to hold their nose as they do that, but they understand that. Look, at when they play at their best, Kyrie and Durant are still as good a 1-2 punch as there is in the Eastern Conference, and you take your shot. And that's really what the bottom line is.
Mike, what's interesting is Kyrie did play a little, at least. The one guy that didn't play the entire year for either the Sixers or the Nets was Simmons, and no one's really talking about Ben Simmons, and I get it. He's sort of become not only a malcontent, he just sort of has disappeared. But you've covered that team, you're around that area. I'm sure you've been involved with the organization. Like, what is the word about Ben Simmons? Like, people are just assuming he's going to play and he'll be Ben Simmons again. I have no thoughts on the guy. Like, what are you hearing? What is the idea up in Brooklyn when it comes to Ben Simmons and his involvement with the team next year?
Well, I think in the best case scenario, they hope that he's going to be what they acquired, which is one of the most intriguing players in the NBA. But who knows? Because he's had back surgery, and players respond to injuries in different ways. He is damaged right now, and will remain that way until he proves otherwise. It's just the way it is when you're a player coming back from a fairly major medical issue. So look, I mean, but I think certainly the Nets are going to be open-minded about what they have there. I think Nets fans want to be open-minded because if Simmons is, the optimum version of himself, which is a facilitator and a defender, exactly what the Nets have had a gaping, yawning hole the last couple of years, even with Kyrie and Durant. So, at his best, Simmons makes the Nets. It really does make the Nets a 55-win team, and then you see what goes on from there. But the question is, do you get him at his best? We've also seen him in the other direction where he was a genuine negative for a team in his last year with the Sixers, and that wouldn't be which one. It's really unknown now, so it's hard to really, I think, for Nets fans specifically, but also for the Nets themselves to understand exactly what they've got until they see what he's like in training camp, what he's like on the other side of the surgery, and what he's like on the other side of this kind of life-changing year and a half.
Mike Vaccaro, the New York Post, with us here on the Defo Show. All right, changing directions here, and a lot of interesting stuff happening there, obviously, on the NBA scene, and we do have free agency and a lot of interesting players also involved in free agency, and we'll see what situations actually are influenced by acquisitions and are depleted by it. But Major League Baseball in New York, obviously a baseball town. Now, we don't have that feeling here. We haven't had that feeling here since, 1997. I guess 2003 was the last time, but in between has been nothing. We're not really a baseball-related city, except for the expatriates from various other places around the country. But, I mean, it's at a fever pitch in New York, and you have both the Mets and the Yankees playing great baseball. The Yankees comparisons I've already seen, like 3 games into the season. I think even in the post, there were comparisons to the 27 Yankees talking about this team, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I don't know that anybody anticipated Yankee starting pitching would be this good, especially after that horrific start by Garrett Cole in the opener, and you thought, oh my God, it's going to be a disaster of a year. But Aaron Judge, a lot of times covering sports, and I would imagine this is true of New York fans in particular, having been one, they always want their players to do the right thing. And fans would normally be critical, going, what is this guy? Who does he think he is? He turns down $270 million or whatever it was. What is he, the second coming of Babe Ruth? But in the case of Judge, people were actually, I think, outside of Cashman's office holding up giant pictures of Lisa Meanwell, saying, hey, give this guy the money. Has there ever been a guy in a more favorable position to negotiate a deal than Aaron Judge is right now as we speak, even after going through the arbitration where they split the difference? But staved it off. What were the Yankees going to say that was going to be ugly about Aaron Judge? And has there ever been a guy in a stronger position in New York as a fan favorite than Judge is right now?
Probably Derek Jeter. I think Jeter could have named his price tag, and the Yankees could have paid him anything. And you weren't going to hear a lot of Yankee fans complain if they paid him $500 million. That of course came after a career where he'd already won a bunch of championships. And, it's a little different with Judge because, a lot of Judge's career has been kind of viewed on spec because he's been hurt so much. But when he's played, he's been incredibly productive, and he's been a good citizen. He's been a guy that clearly appreciates being in New York, clearly appreciates being a Yankee, being a part of what the Yankees are. And then you combine that with what he's been this year, which is just this relentless phenomenon. Every time the Yankees need a big hit, he seems to walk to the plate and he delivers. Every time they need a home run, he seems to walk to the plate and delivers. He's a terrific outfielder. He bet on himself, and it looked like the smartest bet that any player has ever made on himself. And if you have to figure the Yankees are going to be unwilling to part with him, so he's going to essentially be able to name his price. But I also think that Judge is an independent enough thinker to where he's not, what makes him different from Jeter is that I think Jeter, his heart of hearts, knew that even when he was having a late career contract with the Yankees, there was no way he was going to leave the Yankees because it meant too much to him to be a lifetime Yankee. I think that Judge would be just as happy playing for the Giants or playing for the Dodgers or playing for the, I think he would prefer to be a Yankee. I don't think he would rock his world. And look, he's from California. He grew up a Giants fan. I don't think it would bother him at all to, I think the only thing that might bother him is that, you lose maybe 10 homers a year by not taking him at the right field porch at Yankee Stadium. But you get over that. You get, $450 million reasons to be over that, and you do.
Oh, fantastic, story to follow during the baseball season, and the guy couldn't be having a more remarkable year, nor could the New York Yankees. All right, this is kind of an interesting situation because people thought with the new owner, Cohn, that the Mets might finally make some moves. They went out, they made a big splash. They got Lindor and other pricey players, made more moves during the offseason. Now, normally around this time of the year, no matter how well the Mets were faring, Met fans would be living and cowering in psychotic fear of the imminent collapse. But they actually are going to get an infusion of their own talent, I guess, pretty soon with deGrom and Scherzer coming back, while in a position of strength. So have the Met fans gotten past the usual resignation that this thing has to end soon, this joyride?
Not yet. I mean, look, it's been traumatic watching a 10.5 game lead, come down to 3, which is what it is this morning. But look, I think there's a reason for that. I mean, obviously, I think Mets fans feel worse if they thought that the Mets collapsed. But it's kind of hard to maintain that lead when you got a team in your division winning 15 games, going whatever they are, 21-5 during June. You're going to lose some ground when a team's playing that hot. I think as long as the Mets are able to kind of stay with their heads above water, I mean, they should get Scherzer back next week in Cincinnati. They should get deGrom back not long after the All-Star break. I mean, both of those guys had pretty positive results yesterday. deGrom with a batting practice in Port St. Lucie, and Scherzer, he wasn't perfect in his second rehab start, but all the Mets wanted, Noel Scherzer wanted, was him to kind of come out of that game healthy, and that's just the way it seems. So he should be back in the big leagues next week. And look, I think there is a new sheriff in town. So I mean, come the end of July, whatever, or during July, look, the Mets have holes. They have holes in the bullpen. They could really use another bat. And they have an owner who has said, for the record, that even though the highest luxury tax threshold was named for him, he'd be more than happy to honor that by actually surpassing it if need be.
Wow.
So I don't think that Mets fans are completely over the post-traumatic stress of Wilponism, which was, let's try and do this all in cheap. I think they're starting to slowly realize, as many times, look, as Steve Cohen himself said patiently many times, it's not the old way of doing business. We do things differently now, and he's got the resources to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, you never know exactly. Not every team has a bonanza at the deadline the way that the Braves did last year, for instance, which was historic. But look, I mean, if you take your puncher's chance and you try, that's all really their fans ask. And I do think the Mets will do that. Now, do they get the right players? Does Scherzer and deGrom come back as their former selves? I mean, that's to be determined. But it's certainly better, a good place to be.
I don't know if I actually had reached some phone bank in Taiwan or if I was talking to somebody that's in the building there at the New York Post. But if you see the guy in circulation that I chewed out yesterday, please apologize to him. For
I will do that.
a little overzealous approach to trying to get my newspaper. Yeah.
I will vouch for you, yes.
But I freak out if I don't get the Post. It's the one thing that really bothers me, Mike, and especially because your work is in it. Hey, thanks so much for being with us here today. Very enlightening as always, and our fans really enjoy your appearances on the show. So we hope to do it again soon. And good thing there's not much to write about in New York right now. Kind of, makes for a nice, easy summer. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Always great talking to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
I'd be well, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike Vaccaro, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the Leon Rose thing, that's kind of interesting. The New York writers, I mean, they're not shy about pointing out, something along the lines of Leon Rose being extremely scarce, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize
chances that Rose would have called Vaccaro with his plan B after, you get called out in a newspaper. Do you think the executive really just wants to sit back and go, hey, look at that. Vaccaro just wrote that if I don't have something up my sleeve, I really screwed this up. They could have offered more draft picks, I guess. If they wanted this kid Murray, who just got traded to the Atlanta Hawks, which makes it, doubly damaging, right? If this was a target and you were thinking you were going to put together this dynamic backcourt, they seem to have the inside track on your man Brunson there. Although, you never know if Mark Cuban's going to figure out some way, to make it next to impossible. I guess there's nothing they can do to stop it, right? The guy's a free agent.
No, he's a free agent, but they can offer more money and they can say, look, the Knicks or us, who were just in the Western Conference Finals.
Imagine telling your father you're going to another team, like the Heat.
But wouldn't your father get it? Yeah.
Imagine that. Got his old man a job there with the Knicks, man. Does Tom Thibodeau really have respect for this guy? I don't know. I mean, what's his reputation and what are his credentials as a coach? I'm not sure.
I think Rick Brunson's coached a while.
You think they would have gone out of their way to hire him if they didn't have Jalen Brunson on their radar?
At least the Knicks. I mean, he's coached a long time, and I think he's spoken of well in coaching.
Doesn't this reek of Jerry Faust becoming the head coach at Notre Dame?
It was 100%
feeding him all those linemen from Cincinnati
college all the time. Like they'll bring up high school coaches either because they're the parent or they coach the kid, and that way the kid will come to the school. Like that's 100% what it is. I mean, the Knicks are trying. They're just not a winner. Like. The reason the Knicks were appealing was because he was going to make a lot of money and then all that other stuff. But if the Mavs and the Heat can clear the space, which is what they would do sign-in trades. I mean, the Mavs, I think, have the money. They were just being cheap, like the Heat.
I love the salary cap in the NBA, though, Lubie, because they expanded it by $12 million or something this year.
Yep.
All right. So, it's actually as high as I think it's close to NFL salary caps. The salary cap in the NBA. Proportionate to the number of people on the roster, it far exceeds it.
Yes.
And, and yet there are a zillion ways around it, including, I forgot about this, the early bird rules, where you not only have the Larry Bird rules, but you have as if it was created at some restaurant at like Wolfie's Rascal House, the early bird rules. We'll have to ask Ron Rothstein about that on our Believe podcast. I think I'll start with that today. Yeah. What exactly are the early bird rules? All right. We had a lot of fun being with you. Thanks to Dave Gurggles Gergely. Great job conducting the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Congratulations to our winner. That was absolutely fantastic as Pat rolled in there and took it down, the prize. And he's a big, big aficionado of all of the great stuff that's available there at Landlubber's Restaurant. Thanks to Alex Efrain for providing the prize. And thank you guys for participating. We love all of our fans here on the chat line. Julian's been a big participant. Of course, our good man, which, unbelievable. And now going by Easy E. Eric, of course, which I guess he is. He probably has some rap credentials in his past there. Many others weighing in here on the chat line. I appreciate it as I'm scrolling down here. Seymour Brown.
Yeah, bud.
And Andy, man, always big. Tom Blansky, our good friend Tom Blansky, was at the celebration last year at the Defo birthday celebration.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Yeah, fantastic. So I appreciate all you guys. We love the input and the participation here on the show.
Don't forget, 12 p.m., Mike Mayo's Lunchbox.
Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, yeah.
Visit Lauderdale every day under the sun, every dish under the sun. Thursday, we're going to be at the Catherine, I think. The Catherine. So check us out today at 12 p.m.
Where's the Catherine? Yeah, where is that?
It's Fort Lauderdale from what I told. So it's probably closer to you than to me. Nikki Mohan, of course, joins us each and every Thursday. So 12 p.m. right
lovely
here.
Nikki Mohan.
She's tremendous.
She's brilliant, by the way.
She's really nice. We got real close real fast. She's like really cool. For someone who's been on TV for so long, you wouldn't know it. She's really grounded.
No, very down to earth. You could tell by her style on the tube. Fantastic young lady. And that brings a good vibe to the program there as Mike Mayo features various restaurants with sort of ethnic themes to them. Would it be ethnic? No, it'd be...
Not always ethnic. It was just a month. It was ethnic. I mean, they're pretty wide open.
Yeah. All right. You go to a kosher deli sometime soon? That would be a good one.
How
about the Pomperdale Deli? Get up there and get a corned beef on rye.
It's Reuben month.
He went someplace with Tom from Louisiana Kitchen there, and they went to some sandwich joint that's supposed to be amazing. So we'll hear about that, no doubt, on the show today, too. All right, stay tuned for that. Ron Rothstein, our special guest on our Believe podcast. That's BLEAV. Podcast network, and I guess it's just called Believe Network, but nonetheless, we're on there pretty much daily, Monday through Friday with After Hours with Defo and Lubie. Signing off here on the Defo Show. Our thanks to Hialeah Park and all the great people there for their support, all of our great sponsors. From Mike Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:02.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.